Hi guys, welcome back. UK here is another vid. For the last couple of weeks I've been pondering topics to try and do, and nothing's really sort of grabbed my mind. And then, as of this morning, voila, I see that Tim Samurai 7 RPG has posted a RPG tag video with a number of questions. And I like doing these, so although I wasn't tagged, I'm going to steal the questions anyway. So, to jump straight in, question number one, what was the first system that you played in? For me, that was Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay back in early 1987. I'd been wanting to get into D&D for a few years before that, but didn't actually know any other role players. And the first guy that sort of like came to my school at that point, this was his game of choice then. And so that was the first game that I played MGM for probably a couple of years until I picked up a few others. Question two, what was your first character? Well, for that particular game, I was a human mercenary by the name of Wolfgang Schmidt, because I had been told that the Empire was basically a fantasy Germany, and that was the first name I could think of. Question three, what is your current favourite system? That would be Pathfinder. I like it on a mechanical level, even with its twinky approach, and to me it's the true descendant of D&D. 4. What was your favourite? What was your favourite character that you've played? That would probably be one of my PFS characters at the moment, who is almost up to the retirement level. That is Bluebell, the fighter. Basically, the reason I like him is I don't play twinky characters. I don't power game. I don't optimise, and this is the closest I get. The idea being that he is this huge, muscular, sort of like Dolph Lundgren looking guy with this huge Earthbreaker hammer sort of thing. And the background for him was very simple. That when he was a small boy, he wasn't interested in doing things with the other boys. He didn't rough and tumble. He would rather sit in the fields and make daisy chains with the girls. Bluebell was the nickname that the other kids gave him. And upon his father's deathbed, he basically said, "If you want to remember me, son, man up." And so that's what he's done. And Bluebell has become this huge, muscular figure. And the idea was that in Pathfinder Society, you're supposed to be part adventurer, part archaeologist, and you have to write up reports and all this sort of stuff after your adventures. Well, sometimes you don't need that, and this particular faction that brought him in, which doesn't exist anymore, it's called the Skazani, it's now the Exchange, basically decided that you sometimes just need people to go in there and protect the people who are going to write the reports. So Bluebell was designed basically to be the guy that keeps everybody else alive. The fact that he's thick as two short planks to go along with it has actually made him a very memorable character, and I love him. I'm hoping that he will survive the Eyes of the Ten sort of retirement scenario, and then you can go on to do the higher level modules as well. Question 5. What is your least favourite character that you have played? I don't know that I have least favourite. I think for me it's more characters that turn out to be disappointing. And a recent example, which will probably go down on this particular response, was our Sunday night games are a little bit up in the air at the moment. We've got people that can't make it because of work, we've got people that can't make it because of other stuff, and so we kind of, for 1 week, we chop and change a little bit what we do. And for one of them, we've been doing the beginnings of the Iron Gods adventure path. And I had this great, cool concept that I wanted, and I built the character. It was an android, fighter alchemist, gunslinger alchemist, I fib. And the gunslinger had this archetype that lets him basically use his grit and so forth for laser weapons. And the alchemist side of it had the grenadier, so he was better at things, and I was able to basically reskin it so that he had grenades. So he was basically like a 40k thug, essentially. And I really wanted this character concept to work, and unfortunately it didn't. And for like the 2.5, however long it was, sessions that he played, he just ended up being a real disappointment. And before he died, and I think that for me is what makes the least favourite characters. It's just that when you have these ideas for them and it doesn't actually work out. Question 6. What is your favourite world or setting? To be honest, although I don't play it anymore, I liked Kryn from the Dragonlance setting, except I like a very specific point in it. I like after the War of the Lance Blue Ladies War and before the nonsense that was the Chaos War, which doesn't happen in my games whenever I run it, it's always been something else. I like that sort of post-war era, and I like the setting because it's not D&D in its traditional sense. It's not dungeon crawls or it's not dungeon crawls. It's not going in, kicking in the door, killing the monsters and stealing their treasure. It's not that sort of game. It's more a romanticised fantasy when you play it right or run it right, as opposed to traditional D&D. What is your favourite dice? This is question 7. I don't know. I'm assuming from the way that Tim answered this that it's shape of dice, not specific dice. I don't know. I'm going to go with just D20 because it's the archetypal dice for role playing, I guess, for me. Question 8. Do you prefer miniatures or theatre of the mind? I actually prefer it if people did it up there in their heads. That, to me, is the whole point of a role-playing game. It's supposed to be the imagination. Pathfinder, unfortunately, and D&D these days, requires you to have miniatures. Ooh, there goes my phone. Requires you to have miniatures, and unfortunately it means that combat ends up becoming A, unrealistic, and B, basically just a chess game. Unrealistic, the amount of times I see people move and then go round like a 10-foot arc behind somebody, it's like you wouldn't do that in a real fight. You'd go in there and you just start swinging. It just doesn't really gel for me when you use miniatures, but you have to these days. What was your worst glitch, critical failure, fumble in a game? I don't know. Oh yes, I do. Ooh, another message. It's only just come to me with that. I was playing in a Rollmaster campaign. This is probably about 91. It was actually Middle Earth. The same guy that got me to play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And in one particular fight, we were in some sort of ancient barrow or something like this. And my, I think he was like a barbarian or that sort of fighter sort of character. Basically, critical fumble, smacked himself around the head with a bastard sword, knocked himself into a coma for 6 months. So yeah, that would probably be it. The next question on the line to go with that is, what is your best or favourite critical success in a game? I can't think of one. I've been trying to pore over this while I was watching Tim's video as well. I can't think of one for myself, but I can give you what I think has been the best one that I've ever seen. It was the same Middle Earth Rollmaster campaign, and one of my friends, Muppet, he had a hobbit that specialised in using Ebola, like the ball on the end of the string. And in the first scenario, we encountered the ultimate villain. He's high up on this balcony, and he's like doing his monologue, and he just goes, "I'll this," and critical hits and kills him before we even started the campaign. Oops. That's my favourite one. It's not mine, but it was awesome. Question 11. What is your favourite class or type of character to play? I actually like paladins in Pathfinder. I like to play the hero though. I'm not a fan of playing like the dark hero or the anti-hero. I like to be the white hat. That's the whole point to me of, I don't know, role playing. You get to be the good guy and you get to do all the cool stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Question 12. What is your least favourite class or type of character to play? Since the 3rd edition D&D, it's wizards, because the introduction of sorcerer, I think, made wizards obsolete. There's no reason for you to ever play a wizard again, and quite frankly I wouldn't. The sorcerer is far more versatile, and any of this support buff spells that you need, you just take them as wands or scrolls. Just focus on combat magic, and you have got, I think, the best arcane cast you can get. Wizards having to memorise spells and pick and choose just makes them kind of pointless now, and very dull to play. Question 13. What is one system or setting that you've never played in but want to? Deathwatch, the Space Marine game for Warhammer 40k. I ran like 2 sessions of it. Didn't really get it going, but it's one that I really want to play. I really want to actually play a full campaign of this as a player character, as opposed to GM, with someone that's going to actually do it right and do the system, the setting justice. Where are we? Question 14. If you were to create yourself as a character, what would your class be? Sorcerer. Yeah, Sorcerer, no doubt about it. And then question 15 is, who are you going to tag? Well, quite frankly, anyone that wants to. You know, I'm sure that myself, Tim, and the original chap, I'm sorry, his name has slipped my mind as I'm saying this, would be interested to see what you have to answer as well. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I apologise for the glare out the back. It's a very sunny day out there. Until next time, take care and good gaming.